Okay, so for those of you who have seen Andrew Price's tutorial from Nature Academy on mountains, this is the result he gets, and it's very nice. The slope is determined by using a light on the scene that determines the intensity at each point, and based on that intensity determines whether to put snow or to put rock. And it's a very nice system. It has some great looking results. But the problem with it is that, it only uses Blender's internal rendering engine, which is great for some things, but sometimes you need cycles. And so I kind of figured out a way to make a very similar effect using cycles. And that's what I'm going to show you. So, let's create a new file, get rid of your cube. You can change the light to a sun lamp. And okay, so change to cycles. And then what you want to do is go to your user preferences, go to add-ons, and enable the Ant landscape generator, which, if you don't know what that is, it allows you to add a landscape generator into Blender. So I am just going to set some simple settings here. X fall off, subdivisions. I'm gonna do 512. You probably want to do more than that, but for the sake of the tutorial, it's not entirely necessary. Let's up the depth just a little bit. Alright, okay, so that pretty much sums that up. So go into your materials, make a new one, call this one mountain, and then I'm gonna split this, turn this into a rendered 3D view, just so you can get a good idea of what's going on. And then turn this into the node editor, wherever that is. There it is. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is add in the geometry input, and because you're gonna need the normal values. So what you're next gonna do is add in a converter, or no, yeah, it's converter, isn't it? Yeah, vector math right there, and change it to average. And you're gonna want to average the normal with a combine XYZ, just like that. And then you can add another converter. Oop, wrong separate there. The separate XYZ, and plug the vector in, and then because you're going to need the Z value from this for a color ramp. Alright, so right now I'm just going to create two different materials. I'll use this as the base snow color, and then a rock color. You can go into more detail with these shaders, but adding textures and whatnot, but I'm not going to do that right now. So what you want to do is you want to add a mix shader to these two, and then the factor of this will be off of there. Alright, so I'm going to set this to constant. Doesn't look that great, but it's easier to mess with. And then all you have to do is, actually I'm going to flip that and bring this back a little bit. So what that allows you to do is just adjust how much rock you actually want on your scene. And as you can see, you're already getting a little slope based coloring there. And all this nonsense over here is actually, for the purposes of this, you can mess with the directionality of this to So if you don't want it to be perfectly vertical, if you don't want the slope to be based off of a perfectly vertical line, you can change this around, mess with the values a little bit, just kind of maybe see what looks best to you. I generally like to have it just angled a little bit to the x and the y values, so it's not completely vertical. Let's do just see how that looks. Yeah, I like that. It's not completely vertical, so it will show up more on some sides, maybe based on wind or the sun or whatever, but it just looks a little more natural to me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to, you can change this back to, linear or whatever, and push this right up next to there, so it's not quite a dead cutoff. And the reason this is kind of spotty like this, and the lines, is because the resolution of the landscape, if you upped that like you would for an actual scene, it will look a lot better than that. Okay, so yeah, that's it. If you are interested, I'll show you now how to add in a third color. So say you wanted a snow texture and then a rocky snow and then just a rock. I'll add that in just as a quick little segment here on the end. Take this value down and then get another one of these and another mix shader. Bring the color from this one into the factor here, and then the same thing over here. You want the Z right there. And then it's just a matter of playing with the colors on this a little bit to get what you want. Might have to flip that. Oh, it's kind of difficult to kind of figure out. There we go. Figure out exactly what needs to be done. I'm going to change this to constant just for... Alright, and there it is. So as you can see, the steepest locations are now using this dark diffuse, and the medium steepness is using this middle, and same with that. And you can always adjust this to be, add another one here. You can always add this to be linear or something. And yeah, it's very difficult to get it precisely where you're wanting with this. There we go. Okay. So the white value here is what's really pushing it forward. And then, same with the top. You just adjust it to make it no longer linear, so it kind of fades off a little bit, and you just adjust how much you want it to fade. Yeah. Alright, that's pretty much all I wanted to show you. Thanks for watching.